So when people are optimistic, they look at the glass half full. When people are pessimistic, they look at the glass half empty. My quote today is, "A pessimist is a man who looks both ways before crossing a one-way street," simply quoted by Peter. Today I do agree with this quote, and today I'd like to explain why this quote is true. And with this quote, it's something, when you're pessimistic, it can affect your love life, or just simply love in general, and it can affect you as a person internally, and it affects those around you. And I'd like to start off with saying that in love, when you're a pessimist or you're pessimistic, you look at the bad in things and you don't understand why, for example, someone would love you. You love them and they love you back, but you don't understand why. It's a negative thing. It's something that you're putting yourself down, or you're putting down a situation in your life. And I hate to put this on blast, but my girlfriend's very pessimistic, and she's always sad about things, and she doesn't see. Sometimes she just doesn't see the good in things, or it just doesn't come to her easily. And it's something that I've noticed, and then which leads into the second thing, I guess I could switch it up, is how it affects others. When you're around someone who's pessimistic, and you can feel the negativity from them, or you can feel that they're not happy. And when someone's not happy and you're around them, or you're a part of their life, it's something that you receive as well, and it can cause you to be unhappy, because as humans, we look to each other, we need to lean on each other in times where we want to be happy, or we're having a tough time ourselves. And which leads into my final example is, internally, you beat yourself up. You see things differently in life. You can't strive to be the best person you can be, because internally you're always worried about something. You're always wondering why and being negative, and it's not fair to yourself. It's not fair to the ones you love, and it's not fair to at any extent to be pessimistic. And it's always good in the end to look at yourself in a positive way. Be around people that are positive, people that will help you move along in life, and try not to look the other way, both ways, on a one-way road. Thank you.
What is it?
Oh, I know, sorry. You're almost there.
Okay. Hey, he's cool.
No worries. I'm gonna go crazy during that. I just want to get out of here. I don't like it when teachers do that. We're all not going to be concentrating.
Oh my god, why would you do that?
We're just going to be like, just get out of here. Yeah.
Whatever.
Yes, no, maybe so.
All right, Jodi, I thought that the water glass illustration's fine to identify and kind of get our attention, and then you transition to the topic clearly. There's a good statement of preview in the presentation, although I think you can highlight it a little more that it is in fact the structure of the speech. On the individual points, you do transition in the body of the speech clearly. That part's good. I think some of the examples remain a little abstract. I'm not exactly sure what it is that your girlfriend does that's kind of sort of looking at the negative things or the wrong way at things, but I know that that's the way you feel about it. By the way, this is going on YouTube. Make sure she doesn't see it. I think on the presentation things, you've got a couple of good things going for you. First of all, you come across pretty relaxed. You know, you've got your voice is what I think gives us the most relaxed part of the presentation. You are speaking in a fluid way. You're loud enough to be heard. You're not trying to control us with your voice, which is okay. So there's nothing wrong with what you're doing there. It's kind of a mellow feel that you're giving us with the vibe of your voice. I did like the inflection that you had in a couple of spots. Like when you got on that one section about being happy, you can kind of pick out that there's a little bit of a change, and you're punching the words in a couple of spots. And I thought that was nice. And you can maybe do that a little bit more consistently. It was appropriate in that situation and context, and so maybe doing it more frequently is a good idea. There are some good natural gestures where you were speaking. I didn't see anything that's problematic. Maybe they were a little contained. The one thing in your presentation that I do think is problematic is your audience contact. You do look at people, but you have a tendency to kind of look around at people. In other words, I think you're looking at the audience, but I'm not sure you're looking at anybody's face. You're looking kind of in the direction of the audience and in the body there. And sometimes you look down a little bit when you're transitioning from one idea to the next. Like my notes are down there on the floor, and so I should look down there a little bit. So it didn't seem like you're furtive or afraid of people, but it didn't really seem like you're engaging people either. And I think you want to try and be able to do that. I did like the conclusion of the speech. I always like it when people come back and try and find a clever way to get the quote back into the end. It's not a requirement, but yeah, it's a nice tip of the hat to what you're talking about. It tells everybody we're clearly at the end of the presentation. Thank you all very much for being ready today. Be careful out there on your spring breaks. We don't want fewer people next time we are here together.